Well, good morning again. Another late starting one and probably a short running one. And there will be crashes because it still isn't fixed. So I spent yesterday, my little bit of dev time yesterday, I spent putting in that system in place that prevented you from trying to build multiple objects at the same time. It turned out not to be trivial because I needed to figure out how long each section would take to actually build, and I had never really built a system for doing that. And it turns out that each section could potentially have a limitless number of objects that it was going to build, with a limitless number of random kind of delays and other things. So I had to kind of comb through the system and figure out a way to somehow estimate that building time. And I'm happy to say I came up with one, which is great, and it seems to work. So that's a good thing, and that's a bit of progress. So tried it all out on my other computer, on my laptop, and it runs fine without a hitch. I can get through the entire thing and build the whole building. Tried it over here, the exact same setup, and we still run into crashes. So it may be specific to this computer. I just don't know. I'm just not getting any kind of consistent feedback to try to chase this down. So instead of getting completely bogged down in that this morning, fingers crossed, instead we're going to try to create a system where you can unbuild an object. And that's not true, because this isn't where if you click on something that you've already built, you can demolish it. Maybe at some point we'll create that system if it's needed for the gameplay. But I have an idea about how the game's going to start. I've been kind of throwing this around for a while now, and so I want to start with an object that is built, and I just want to simply run the build in reverse. So let's set that up and see what happens. So I've actually kind of created some code, or adapted some code to try to do that, but I need to create the correct object. So to do that, we're going to grab an object, and it's going to be a piece of window tracery. So I just need to go find that. It's part of the West Tower window tracery. So let's go in and find that thing. And then we may just leave the thing running, playing in the background, and just see if it crashes completely on its own without any prompting. So yeah, we'll see if we can break his system a little bit more. So we've got this object, and this is the one I want to work with, and I just want to kind of unbuild this one. This one seems a little bit more complex. Let's just grab one and kind of bring it into where it needs to go. I'm going to duplicate this. And yeah, I'm just trying to kind of figure this one out. Let's bring it up here. And let's bring it into place, into where it actually goes, which is right down here. So let's line it up, see if we can get it to appear. Okay. I suspect everything's already at 0 as part of the problem. Yep. All of these fragments of tracery are 0 scaled. There they are. We can just see them appearing there. Here we go. There it is. Excellent. If you can hear the scroll wheel on my mouse today, which is a little bit louder than usual, that's because I have a new mouse, a new trackball, because my old one died. Just got a brand new one, just tested it out yesterday, I think. And it's nice, but it's got a very loud scroll wheel, so we'll see if this one works. This will be my 4th trackball I've gone through. They only seem to last a couple of years, and then they die, which is a shame. Anyway, I like this one. We'll see if it works. Okay, so we've got that one set up now. Just checking. I had this momentary thought that maybe I had done the wrong one. Okay, now, this is the wrong type of object. It's a lot of fragments, but what I want instead of fragments is I want this to be like one of these objects here, which is something that already exists in the scene as rubble. So anyway, let's go see how one of these is set up and see if I can adapt it. Because see, here's this little checkbox reverse build. That's a new piece of, that's a new option here. Let's go see where the thing is it needs to rebuild. My rubble, that's what we need. Good, I can take an array of rubble, so that's cool. Let's see what this ends up being. That just has a rubble builder script. Has a bunch of end positions in it. End rotations, end positions. All I want to try to do is to get this to, well, what will happen, we'll see what will happen. The whole thing will kind of zipper down into this corner. At first, that's what we'll want. But just trying to get the thing set up correctly. So these don't need, the individual pieces of rubble, thank goodness, don't need any special scripting or setup on them. It's just their parent object needs one of these rubble builder scripts. Okay. So we first need to go back down here and let's get rid of the fragmented object behavior script. So we don't need that, but instead we need a rebuild from rubble script, which has a reverse in it. Yeah. Okay. Let's give it an orientation. The orientation is west. Let's give it a start date. The start date for this is about 1350, I think. The end date, let's put it right up at the end here. Let's give it a rebuild date of this, I don't think it really matters. Let's hit the reverse. Doesn't have per period occupiers. It's got a collider on child, I guess. That's fine. There's no soil to move. It's got no rebel soil. It's got no delay in the build. Is it occupied? I'm not quite sure. Let's go take a look and see if we need that turned on here. Nope, none of that stuff really needs to be set, so that's good. We don't need to move soil. So we just need to set the rubble builders. It's got no initial occupying objects for now. I really didn't even need to set the rebuild date, apparently, so that's cool. And so all we need to do is we just need to go grab these bits of rubble here. So let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, these need rubble builders. They don't need fragmented object behaviors either. It would be good to make this reversible as well at some point in the future, if I feel, I guess, the game needs that. Okay, I don't need to put in a whole object behavior. I don't need to have it spawn a new object. I guess I need to add a date to the rubble. So we'll say 1350. I don't need rotations. We're not going to rotate the fragments at this time. And the end positions are just going to be zeros. But here's where it's going to be a little bit manually difficult. So there's 16 of these in here. They're all going to need 0, 0, zeros. Yep. So this is going to take a little while. No, actually, they're all zeroed out. That's great. And this will be good enough for now. I just want to see if I can get it building backwards. That's all. So how many children are in here? 43. Bet we'll get some index out of range errors here, if it works at all. Now this needs, let me think about this. Does this need a collider? If we were kind of rebuilding these pieces, they don't have a collider. Okay, so that's the whole collider on children thing. Ah, that's what it means. We need the collider here. Just, yeah, the collision mesh. Right, okay, understood. Maybe we don't need it. Let's find out. Let's zoom into this. Let's add our collider here. Just good old box collider. Now it comes in at the origin point, but we can change that. I think this is just a trigger. So let's change its size. First we'll change its position. Change its size here. Good. Oh, didn't want to do that. Wrong one. Move it down to about there, make it a little bit thicker. Okay, and change that position right there. Let's just make this just about the size of this object. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to look and see if this is in any kind of special layer. It's just the time A layer, so that's nice. Yeah, we can change all the children, that's fine. The collider is not on child. Two pieces of rubble. Okay. Well, in theory, that should be all set up. So let's give it a save and see what we can do here. Sorry for the complete lack of interesting or entertaining streaming. This is kind of the hard slog where you've got your kind of main ideas in place and you're just trying to make them work. Yeah. So there's a lot of just kind of experimenting and talking through it. All right. So it's got the reverse build thing going on. It's got its rebel. Okay, let's just see what happens. I'm kind of suspecting nothing's going to happen. That's my strong feeling. Let's move. No, those are... No, well, they're tagged as fragments, but that probably doesn't matter. Okay. Well, let's just see what happens. Like I said, strong suspicion nothing's going to happen. So let's give it its 10 seconds to load everything into memory. We might get a crash. Still going. There we go. Let's zoom in here. Okay. Let's put the mouse over this. I'm not getting any feedback that it's colliding, but that's because I'm not supposed to get anything like that. Oh, I've got it not sent to an instance of an object already. Okay, clicking on it did nothing, so where's the error coming from? Okay, rebuild from rebel, line 142. Let's go figure out what that one is. And once this fires up, we'll go turn off the gameplay. All right, let's go turn that off. Let's see what line 142 in the rebel builder, a rebuild from rebel was. Okay, it needs an occupying mesh game object. This is going to be just a dummy. That's fine. Yep. All right, let's duplicate this. And then stick it in here. And call it occupying mesh. And give its position of 0s. Okay, so this is just a dummy object and it needs it. I can't remember why. Eventually I'm probably going to strip that part of code out because I think it's from a previous iteration of the system. All right, let's save that again just in case we get one of those exciting crashes. Don't want to lose this quote-unquote progress here. And let's give it a shot again. I really just want to see if I can get this to go backwards. We may get all sorts of strangeness. If we get anything. So let's see if we get any more errors. Yep, we did. Good. Now what are we looking for? Line 169. Ah, of course it needs its GUID. That makes sense. All right, what else? Let's go look at the script and see what else it needs in its start. Occupying mesh, the controller just exists out there. Set orientation, okay. The orientation's all set up. There's another get component there. Alright, that might be it. Let's give it a shot again, see what happens. Give it its few seconds here. And again, maybe it's just all of this. Okay, no errors, that's cool. Maybe it's just all of this loading into memory that's giving us trouble. Oh, yay. Okay, well, at least it responded to there being a mouse over, and we can see that it kept firing an event. And again, we're looking at an event on line 204 now. This always happens in new systems. So line 204 is saying that, oh, you need to highlight your rebel block. Okay, so what this is trying to do is it's trying to grab the vertex color adjust for this object and highlight it. But we don't have a vertex color adjust because there's no mesh at all on this. So we need to just put a check in here just to make sure. So, let's stick another one in here in this set of conditions. And if we have a vertex color adjust, if the field is not null, and we're going to have to do this over this one too. And we may have to do it somewhere else too, who knows. Let's go look and see what else we got. Well, that's 6 of 6, so I don't think. Oh yeah, the awake was trying to find that. Okay, eventually I'm going to have to stick something in there as some kind of feedback that you're even over the object. All right, let's save it again. Oh, you know, I probably didn't even save the change to the script. Let us do it save. Whoop. Here we go. Yeah, I didn't save it. Let's let that compile, make sure we're not getting errors during the compilation. We are not. That's great. Okay, now let's see what happens. This is more fun than just inexplicable crashes. Okay, let's zoom in. Let's pan up. Okay, I'm over it. I'm getting no errors. Ooh, that was a weird effect, wasn't it? That's very strange. Oh, am I going to get an error now? Oh, it's only letting me click it twice. That's weird. Okay, so that was interesting. We got some sort of effect here, but obviously not what I had intended. Obviously exactly what I had written in code, but not what I had intended. So let's go see where my logic is wrong, because I'm 100% certain the problem is me. Let's go look at the reverse build. Okay, so actually all the reverse build here does is it just goes and talks to the rebel builders and sends all this information. So it's actually in the rebel builder script right here. And it's this build rebel. So the rebuild from rebel script just calls this method on each of the parents of the rebel, and just calls build rebel, and it sends all these parameters, which is quite a lot of parameters. And then this sets a couple of things, and then it calls a coroutine which actually moves all the fragments of rebel to where they need to be. And this is where I've got the reverse build bool coming into effect. So here we go. So if reverse build isn't set, it takes all of the objects, each child, and just moves it to whatever its new position is. And that's it. After a certain delay, and we've got kind of a random delay in there so that the pieces kind of pop in and out, not all at the same time. But if a reverse build is true, if that comes across, what I kind of wanted it to do was to go from the starting position of each fragment, which is just their local position, and then it's supposed to go kind of from the starting position down to this. It's not supposed to go to its own starting position, so maybe that's part of the problem. It's not supposed to. Oh, its end position is, all the end positions are 0, so and it's supposed to start at its starting position. I think this whole, starting, in fact, reversing, yeah. Okay, I think this would work. It's just that I'm already starting reversed. So this reverse build, yeah, actually I'm gonna, so I'm mumbling through everything again. Okay, let's keep walking back through this. Okay, sorry, this is exactly working exactly the way it should. I'm just mumbling through it. I'm starting with an object that's already built, so yeah, let's take the reverse build check mark off of this, actually, because I'm already starting with something that's built, and so it thinks its build is actually going to be its demolition. Beautifully explained. Thank you. Let's let this run. No error messages. Okay, here we go. Yep. See? Ooh, one little random piece decided to run off. Okay. Yeah, that was not a very interesting rebuild at all, but yeah, that's what we wanted to do. Okay, so we kind of got oh good, we got to not set to an instance of an object. So anyway, that kind of worked. Let's go look on Rebel Builder line 124 just to see where we're getting some trouble. Right here. Yeah, because there's no whole object behavior set. So what that means is that there's no, once the kind of build or debuild process is done, it wants to swap out the individual Rebel meshes with a single mesh is what it wants to do. We never set the whole object behavior. So I should probably run a check here. I just want to make sure I'm not running into whole object behavior. See, there's a check. So let's just put it in here too. Okay. So I think what I did here when I added this reverse build option is that I actually made it reversible, but I haven't made it reverse, if that makes any sense, and I'm sure it doesn't. But what I mean is that now this has the potential that if you've already kind of built an object, then you have the potential, now that it's built, you have the potential to run that build backwards. and for it to unbuild. But I don't have any way to trigger that, because once you run a build, it turns off all of this kind of stuff. So the object doesn't stay live, it doesn't stay clickable. So I would need to create a way to make the object stay clickable. That's what I would need to do. But anyway, so we've done something, we've made something, so that's good. I should probably run or make this fragmented object behavior script reversible as well. And it might run things a little bit better here. But anyway, that's okay. It's good to see. It's good to see that, something happened. I'm going to turn that one off for now, because it doesn't have any purpose right now. I'm just trying to tease with kind of making these things go either way, these builds. I'm sure there's a much easier way to do it, but this is just kind of sketching out some ideas, because I'm kind of have some ideas about how I'm going to structure the opening few moments of this. So anyway, all that stuff is good. And we've made some progress there. So I'm just going to go through this and do another playthrough until it crashes. It seemed to crash when I was building the arcade arches this time around. Nothing's going to show up in the console. Nothing's going to show up in the system logs for what's causing this crash. Oh, no, wait, there was one thing I was going to do. Let's stop this, because I'm going to turn on the profiler. I'm going to run the profiler over in my other window, over on my other screen, so you won't be able to see it, but I'm just going to keep an eye on the profiler, just to see if we get any kind of odd spikes in CPU usage, rendering, memory, any of that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to run the profiler until the system crashes, and we'll see if I can get. Unfortunately, once the system crashes, I won't be able to. I won't be able to see exactly what's going on, but I'll see if there's like any unusual behavior. But I won't be able to see any details, because once it crashes, I won't be able to get into any information on the profiler. So let's just run it anyway. So I've got the profiler running here in my other, on my other screen, but you can't see that. So let's just build some stuff up here just for kicks. Just trying to see what we get in terms of memory and all that kind of stuff. Everything's moving along just fine. So it's kind of hard to have like two eyeballs here and keep one eyeball on the profiler, and one eyeball on the game view. But I'm just watching my memory. I'm just going to pause it just for a minute here just to grab a frame. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what we've got going on here, what our kind of average memory is. Yeah, we're not getting any kind of like runaway memory problems. There's some regular garbage collection going on, because I'm generating garbage every frame, and at some point I need to clear that out, but happening yet. All right, let's go back in. Let it keep going. Definitely maintaining a really nice frame rate. Yeah, there's a spike in rendering, but not in memory. Here's my portal. Oh, that was another little thing I was going to do. I was going to change that portal system there. So I definitely had a spike in rendering there. Definitely had a spike in memory. Although we're back to our normal. Everything's moving along swimmingly. Okay, but here's the point where we start to crash. At some point here pretty soon, we're going to start to crash. Still no memory problems. Yeah, everything's just moving right along. It's great. We can see here that I can't, until that's done building, I can't choose a new object. So that's good. Okay, any moment now we should get a nice, juicy crash. Any moment. And there goes the roof. That faded away. No problems. Ah, there. Crash. There we go. All right. I've got nothing in the profiler. It's fine. It's fine. No problem. Okay. Well, I think this is I don't know what's going on. Because the profiler's not giving me, not showing any issues whatsoever either. Yep, nothing whatsoever unusual in the profiler. I can't even show you the profiler now because Unity's crashed. Oh well. Like we should, I don't know. Okay, well, good to know. Well, that's probably a good moment to maybe end it on. And I'll keep playing around on the other computer, on the laptop, to see if I can ever cause that to crash, or if I can do some sort of replication of the crash here. But yeah, I don't know. And on Friday, when we do the streaming, it may not be in this game. It may be back in the Cathedral Builder, because there's a few things to work on before that one goes out to the students at the end of the month. So we may see a different game, and that might be a really good test to see if I can get that to crash as well. That might be telling me that the problem's not just with this project, although I kind of doubt that's the case. But anyway, we'll get this figured out one of these days, but it seems like it's going to be a challenge. Well, everybody, yeah, that should probably do it for today. and we're still hunting down this crashing bug. One day we'll figure out what it is, but it may not be until we completely rebuild the project. So until then, and until Friday, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully the rest of today's Wednesday goes better than the last Wednesday. All right, everybody. Be safe out there. See you on Friday.